Oh yeah, it's a thing to do with the babadoo and whatever we can't see. I'm kind of doing stuff like here. It's a thing that I'm doing. Oh baby, yeah. Where is my link to do this? La ba be da boo boo. I am just kind of hanging out and doing stuff right now. I don't know if there's anybody here, I can't tell. It says no viewers yet, and that's okay. Cause I'm gonna go. What's that thing? I don't know what's that thing. Nope. What's that thing? I don't know what. I do boop 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 ba-dee-dee-dee, ba-ba-dee, ba-ba-ba. La 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 la. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out. There's nobody here. That's okay. And I can dissolve to my other screen. Go Photoshop. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So, that's cool. Ah, hello, viewer. Don't know who you are. Say hi. I have the Q&A app running, so if you come to the page, you can ask me questions and say hello, etc. So yeah, now this isn't, obviously that's not my comic. That's kind of, yeah, that's not my comic. I had a speed paint that I was working on. It's not as, oops, not as speedy. This is the non-speed paint portion of it, but you know, some sci-fi thing, big spaceship hovering in space. Let's go to the comic. So here's a comic. Now, before I go read that, spoiler alert. If you're not Invented Here fan, you know, this is Thursday's comic, so I gotta give you a spoiler alert. Let's see, I'm gonna close this space thing and all up my, yeah, there we go. That's interesting. I'm just getting started with this Google Chats thing here. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm looking at the tools at the moment. Give me just a second to flip through here. Control room. that's fine and dandy. Should I? Are you seeing my image forward or backwards? That's a good question. It shows up to me reversed. I don't know. It's working fine. What's that? Google Effects. I'm not going to use Google Effects, I don't think. No, I'm not going to do that. All right, well, let's go back to Toolbox, settings, and sound is there, and that's there, and what's that? I don't know. I don't know! So much of this is new to me. Group chat. Don't know that. Appreciate your patience. Thank you for being patient with me. No, I'm not going to use that. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to go for it. Why not? No, it looks like it's working. Okay, all right, so here we go. I am going to start inking this. First, let's go right. I do my lettering in Adobe Illustrator, and here it is. So that gets me the quality of type that I want. It gets me a real nice quality on the balloons. And then I take this and I export it to a PNG file. Normally I would be inking this on my iPad. I use a program called Procreate, and so I would normally be inking it on the iPad, but I can't show you that on screen. So I'm going to just go ahead and do here in Photoshop. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import, see if I can find it, the type for this comic, which is, did I do it? No, I guess I didn't do it. So, so we go back to Illustrator, and then we turn off image, and I go to File, Export, and I save it as a PNG file. Call it type, use artboards, export, and then it asks me for screen resolution and how I want it done. A couple options there. And I will replace that file, and so I guess I did put it out there already. I just didn't remember. So let's see, where's my PNG? To type 01 PNG. There we go. So I'm going to drag that on Photoshop and open it up, and you see it's a transparent background image. And I will copy it, and paste it, and drag it in place. And that looks like what it's supposed to look like. So now I'll throw out the rough type, call this one type, zoom in, and I'm going to alternate between my eraser and brush tool. I like doing my balloons if they I tend to overlap them a lot over the borders of the panels. So when I do that, I just go ahead and rake them open so they show up outside, or so they're just open to the gutters rather than sitting there closed. That's an aesthetic choice. You may not agree with it. Bill, your writer, doesn't always agree with it, but it does help me make more room for type. Sometimes we tend to be a little text heavy, so being able to run the balloons off the side of the comic is helpful for that. Like I said, you can ask questions at any point. I've got the Q&A app open. I don't know if that's on the YouTube page. It's probably on the Google Hangouts page. 3 viewers now. Hi, 3 viewers. How you doing? I hope you are nice friends who like me. Oops, what happened there? Okay. So yeah, here we go. Back to here we go. Back to Photoshop. Who's on Twitter? Can you listen how to Twitter? Notifications. Yeah, okay. So I will check Twitter from time to time to see if anyone is saying hello. So there's my type, and it's in here. So now my computer is chugging away because doing video and Photoshop at the same time is kind of difficult. Now I'm working on a Cintiq, which you can't see because I'm just broadcasting on the screen. I work with the image blown up pretty big on Cintiq. Mostly because when I've got it blown up like this, I can use my whole arm to make that nice smooth stroke. Look at the pressure setting on that. That's better. Yeah, so the first thing I do when I do my characters is I look at them and I figure out which one's in front, which one's in the middle, which one's in back. I'm going to give each one of those characters a different line weight around the outside, or at least something resembling a different line weight around the outside. So in this panel, I've got 3 characters. I've got Desmond, and I've got Owen, and I've got Salbot. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this up to a 20 pixel brush. I'm doing this at, this is a 4096 by 1387, which is, I think it's 300 DPI at 9 inches wide. I don't really think about DPI anymore because I don't do this for print. So I'm going to go ahead, and not work on the one layer. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use this 20 pixel brush, and I'm just going to start some lines here. And 20 pixels is too big. Pressure today. I'm just going to go ahead, and you'll see that I try to work really, really fast with inking. I don't scribble. I just try to lay down lines as rapidly as possible. And the reason why I do that is because I asked some old school cartoonist friends of mine if they had any advice about inking, because inking, as Adam Warren, one of my favorite comic book artists, says, is a grim tale. Enough said. I'm not as grim about it as he is. Oops, getting some lag there. It's okay. It's not quite so grim for me as it is for Adam, apparently, but still, it's really the most time-consuming and nerve-wracking part of making a comic for me. You can see that I will make a stroke, and if I don't like it, I'll undo it right away and just do it again. I will not attempt to erase or play with it in any way. And if I don't like it, I'll just get rid of it and try to keep going. Your mileage may vary. Not everybody wants to do it that way. Not everybody tolerates doing it that way. But the advice that I got from my old cartoonist friends, as I'm sidetracking myself, was to A, use a brush, because they were talking about doing it on paper. And B, go fast. Just practice going fast. You don't want to read it for the first 3 years. You'll be messing up everything you did because you're going too fast. Pretty much. You're just go fast, use a brush, and try not to sweat it because everybody sweats inking. All right, so there's Desmond in the foreground. He's got a very heavy outline, probably too heavy, but I'm going to stick with it. And I'm also going to go, I know I have a very large Desmond in this last panel, so I'm going to bring him up, and I'm going to go ahead and make him in this panel too. I do this often. I often don't go from one panel to the next panel. I will, for the sake of my production, I will go do things in the order of how where the character is in front or in back. Have a brush a little smaller. Desmond is not happy. He doesn't look unhappy enough, so I'm going to do a little bit of playing around here. No, that's not going to work, is it? Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at my small version. I have the navigator panel open on the other window. Oh, 2 viewers. Way, I scared somebody away. Oh. Wow. I have a navigator window open on my other monitor. In case anyone was curious, this is a MacBook Pro 2010. It's 4 years old. And I have it plugged into the Cintiq, so I'm using both monitors. The one on the laptop and the one on the Cintiq. So on the other monitor, I've got video stuff, and I have a navigator window for Photoshop open. So I can see the whole comic at once, at a pretty small size, and see what it looks like. All right. So that's my foreground character inking, not completely done. Now I'm going to make my pen, I'm going to make my brush smaller, and I'm going to come in and oh, go to Owen's nose first. Don't ask me why, I don't know. And then I do his eyes. And they're just 2 big circles. Eyelids. Face form. Right now, Owen is disguised as Cellbot, so he has altered his appearance dramatically. He does not have his beard. He's wearing some kind of hairpiece or wig or something. He shaved his eyebrows, and he jerry-rigged a pair of headphones to look like the robot used. He's got a little bit of his own hair peeking out from under. And he's got stubble. And so I gotta keep all these things in mind as I'm drawing, because he doesn't look like his usual self. There we go. That's not bad. Like that. He's also wearing a big cardboard box on him. Like he has disguised himself as well as he's mentally capable of disguising himself as Cellbot. This is part of our dastardly plot of doom. In case you're not familiar with Not Invented Here, Owen and Desmond are the main characters. They are software engineers working at a large, faceless, ruthless software company. Yeah, okay, there's that. This panel and do the same with the same size brush, 10 pixels here. And this is just a regular round brush with pressure on it, pressure sensitive control for the width. The opacity is 100%. Yeah, got the eyes right. So he's got his eyelids like this. There we go. Yeah, his face is too close to the edge of the page, and I'm going to get a tangent, so talk about that in a minute. Tangent is what happens when you get two lines too close to each other running at roughly the same angle. So right here, that's a tangent. So when I'm done drawing here, I'm going to move this face a little bit. Because I'm getting a tangent both on the side of his head, both on the side of his head and with on top of his head here with the X box, you've got a potential tangent there. So I think I've compensated for that one already, but the one on the side is going to be a problem. His jawline right there is close to the edge of the thing. So let's put in some this, and then lines for his hair. He's actually wearing a pair of gloves, which changes the shape of his fingers a little bit. And all these little details you kind of got to keep track of. So, and again, going fast, using brush. So I'm going to select, use my lasso tool. I'm going to select his face and bring him into it. So now we have less of tangent between his head, jaw, and the side of the do need to change that because that's two lines bumping together that aren't supposed to. The thing about tangents, the reason why you want to get rid of them is that they can destroy the three-dimensionality of what you're drawing. I guess when you're doing cartoons and comics, it's not as crucial as in other things, but or at least when you're doing simple cartoons and comics, like simply drawing stuff, it's not as crucial, but it still makes a difference. If you have a tangent, it can make a mess. It can make a problem with what you're doing. So there we go. Let's dial up his face a little bit because he's got stubble. Okay. Normally he's got IT very much like mine on Bill's. So there's some marks on his gloves. There's a fabric, which doesn't look like fingers. You can indicate that right away using the ink. Let's zoom back out and look at the whole thing. Hit tab. So there's so far. I'm going to keep going. Now I'm going to go back to the first panel. I'm going to finish Desmond. Desmond is looking up in the left. So to simulate that, I'm going to make sort of a triangular pupil for his eye. There we go. There's his tongue. Mouth. That's easier. Shading there. I don't do a lot of shading on non-minted here with ink, except for some solid dark black areas for some of the characters' hair inside the mouth. So that's kind of where I'm placing it. Let's see. So we're going to have one there for his shirt. Another one here for his shirt. And that's it. Again, I don't like it, so I'll just zap it and do it again. Now I'm making my brush really small because to ink the edges of the giant orange flowers on his shirt, I want that to be really thin. There we go. Like I said, if you got questions, have the Q&A thing running. You can go ahead and ask questions. I don't know how it works on your end, so I apologize for that. This is the first time I've done a live stream on Google Hangouts. I normally do it on Ustream. So, all right, there's that. Now I'm going to go to the background character. So, 6, so 7. So, background character Cellbot. He's a robot. Eyes, not round enough. That's better. I don't have to draw perfect circles, but I do like to draw reasonably decent ones. Ellipses. So yeah, so I'll do this a few times now. I mean, you can't see me doing it because I don't have a camera on me on the Cintiq, but I'm actually drawing this. I tend to not rest my hand on the Cintiq very much. Or if I do, it's very lightly resting on the Cintiq. I'm mostly drawing from my shoulder, which is to some folks an alien concept. I was talking to some of the guys I know in 3D and VFX yesterday. Some of them, they were playing with the new Wacom iPad stylus, which in Wacom's Bamboo Paper app has palm rejection, and they all really like it. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make. And I said, yeah, that's not a selling point for me because I don't really use that. I just I draw from the shoulder. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I had to show them. I'm like, so you can like ink standing up and do? I'm like, yeah. I don't know how to do that. Same way you do everything, years of practice. But so yeah, I draw from the shoulder. Sometimes I'm resting my elbow on the table. Sometimes I've got my hand lightly touching the Cintiq, but I don't lean on it. My Cintiq is nearly vertical. Actually, I can show you where my Cintiq is. Let's dissolve to here. Hi, it's me in my ComfyCon clothes. Yeah, no, this is my Cintiq right here. You can see it's tilted, probably 80 degrees straight up and down. I have it on an Ergotron monitor arm. So, all right. Well, let's see. I'm going to push this back. This isn't as easy as it looks. There we go. Okay. That's right. There we go. So yeah, so I have this at a very vertical angle, and I'm actually drawing. Maybe I can show it to you. I'm actually drawing. Sometimes my elbow is down here, but for the most part, this is how I draw circles. You can see my elbow's not touching anything. My pinky's touching the Cintiq barely. But I'm doing the whole movement from the shoulder, and that's one reason why I zoom way in. So let me go back to the comic. Yay! Right, so there's Cellbot in the background. He's got a much thinner line than his other two. The face is in the background, but it's still a little bit too thin. So I'm going to just beefing that just a little bit. Not too much. There we go. Cellbot is very much like our other character, Marketrade, but it has no emotions. Marketrade has an emotion chip. Cellbot is very much a machine's machine. It's entirely mechanical. Cellbot and Marketrade both have sort of LCD display bodies. They don't actually have clothes. They can project clothing onto the outsides of their body, which is fun. Really, that's it for these guys. I don't have to get too detailed with the guy in the background. I mean, I'm zooming in real far, but the comic's only going to be like this big on your screen, so I don't have to get too close. That Cellbot is done. Let's do this Cellbot. I'm actually going to put my knob a little bit larger. Use that round nose again. I also have, for convenience sake, I have undo mapped to one of the buttons on my stylus, so I don't have to put my hand on the keyboard to do undo. So I make a shape, and if I don't like it, I just click the button and it goes away. La 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 la. So if I'm being too boring and dry, just yell at me. Because, I don't want you to be anything. I'm not really much of a comedian, I'm afraid. So I'm not really that kind of entertainer. And I won't swear anywhere near as much as Danielle, so. Sorry, Danielle.
Skinner, and should I do the whole podcast in Bugs Bunny's voice? Maybe that might be funny. Because, you make it from the Bronx or Brooklyn or something, and it's funny. Besides, I need practice on my voice acting. Yeah. So, what's up, Doc?
Let's try that. Hello? There we go. Yeah, my computer's struggling a little bit here. It's nearing the end of its. I mean, it's still great to use for my artwork, but adding video stuff to this computer is starting to make it show its age and limitations. It's definitely having a hard time doing all this at once. Anytime I'm doing this, the fans come on, and the fans don't like. Even if I'm working in Photoshop as fast as I can on a file that's like 1.5 gigabytes worth of RAM, it doesn't even. The fans only come on when I'm doing stuff like this, when I'm doing video. So I'm working my processor really hard. Cellbot has a really he's almost expressionless. Not completely, but he's almost expressionless in that uncanny valley sort of way. He just, any feeling that he might show is something that he's doing in order for humans to feel more comfortable. He's really not very good at it. Like some people in there. Don't we all know somebody like that? People who express their feelings very well. I'm not great at it myself, actually. I have a bit of that stereotypical sort of nerd personality, as you can probably tell by the way I'm talking. It was different when I was a rock and roller man. I used to be like Mr. Party Dude, but not anymore. Okay, anybody still here? I managed to get rid of everybody yet. One viewer, yay! One viewer. Someone's still here. 2 viewers, yay! 2 viewers. Somebody's here. Hi, viewers. Let's see. Do I have any talking on Twitter? No. That's Twitter. Hey, Freddie Mercury. Yeah. Okay, back to Photoshop. Back to Photoshop. Photoshop. Yeah. There we go. Excellent. So, hi, 3 viewers. You're still here. Or maybe you're different viewers. I don't know. So here's Cellbot and Owen and Desmond. Yeah. Background. I keep my backgrounds pretty simple in Not Invented Here because it takes too long otherwise. I'm going to actually make a new layer for this. Let's see, what am I going to do for this one? I think they're just walking down they're just going to be walking down a hallway. So I'm going to make just some really sort of not quite random, but random-ish lines for the background. When I'm doing this sort of abstract office building background like that, I use it as a way to frame the characters for the shot. So I don't. I'm really only trying to suggest the door. Let's delete that. I have another tangent problem here with the wording. And that can cause some visual consternation. So let's get rid of that. So that's, this is representing their walking out of one area into another area. And it's that simple. I really don't have to do anything more than that. It's just like 9 lines there. Okay. So on the last panel, I don't really even need that. I just need to do this. I'm holding down the shift key while I do this, so it gives me a straight line. I'm just going to lay a couple of lines across like that. One more like this, so it looks like there's a doorway. And that's it. That's really all I got to do. A line across there to show the upper works, the quarter. And then we're done. That's it. That's a background. Doing comics like this. All right, what's next? So I've got this whole panel in the middle that I haven't done yet. And let's merge ink and background. I've got those background lines together. I'm going to zoom in and let's see. I think on this one, I think I'll put in the background lines first. Okay. So here we've got them walking to an intersection in the corridor. We're going to go around the corner in the corridor. There's the corner. There's the across the top. And got some lines here in the pencil, very rough pencil, indicating lighting is going to go it helps if you spend a lot of time in corporate offices to draw these things. Again, really distilling this down from the very cleanest bits of detail. It's not worth spending a lot of time on that background. Still one viewer. I'm glad you're being tenacious. Sorry I don't have any music, but Danielle's got muted because she was playing Bach. Apparently the Google bot detected that it was a currently copyrighted performance of Bach. It's kind of like that. So she got muted. So there's no sound on part of her broadcast. It's terrible. So I don't want to do that. The music that I have to play for you would all be copyrighted, so I get muted too. And then you've missed the dulcet tones of my voice. All right, so there you go. Background pretty much done. I'm going to. You can see that I've scribbled in these guys kind of as silhouettes, so I'm going to stick with that for the most part. Make these guys silhouettes. I'm just going to fill that in with black. I am going to include this side toward Desmond. I'm going to put a little bit more detail in there. I'll actually give them some. So that's going to be shadow. Give them a little bit of light, a little bit of what we in concept art field call ring light. So it's just a bright glow on the side toward the light. You get a few more details that way. Or if you see a few more details on the lit side of them. So there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this off. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if I do that. Yeah, that's right. That's what I want. So nice black outline, nice black fill. Fill in these edges because the fill bucket I use doesn't go all the way through to the edge. And that's pretty much how that's going to work. This is a great trick. One of the many tricks of cartooning. It always works. Silhouette. A lot faster to draw if you're on a deadline. The silhouette pan is quick to do, but also often, dramatically appropriate. Same thing here. This is Owen. Owen's in the front. It's still dressed by the Sawbot. It's still kind of doing the Sawbot move. The Sawbot walk and stuff is imitating. In this case, I'm going to give Owen a halo light on the inside. It will be kind of fun to make it so it's not obvious which one's which. But so that, do that. That's it. Okay. So, a little hairline there. And here. It's dark. Pass here because I'm going to fill this in here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fabulous. Excellent. Yay. I wish I had funny stories to tell you, but I really don't. I have like horrifying stories. If you want me to tell you about what it's like riding a motorcycle on the freeways of Southern California with all the crazy people who do just about anything but driving while they're driving. It's like, yeah, I'm doing 70 miles an hour in a 3,000-pound metal box. I'll just, look at my phone and text my wife. Watch TV. I actually saw a guy who had like an iPhone hooked up on his dashboard and he was watching Netflix, which is, by the way, quite illegal here in California, but he was watching Netflix. And it was crazy. Silly, crazy person. Yeah. Guess not being very entertaining if I'm only holding on to one viewer, but that's okay. It's okay. Right, so here's Desmond. Desmond is saying, no, but you'd never do that. Doing some dramatic silhouette lighting. No, I'm using too wide pen. So. I try not to go smaller than 5, in case the pens start acting strange. They don't give you the predictable line that's smaller than 5 pixels, it seems. I'll just show up and draw. I think his head's too big, so let's grab my old muscle. Small. Can't do that with a brush. The advantages of digital production are many, especially for me. I can't really. I just don't have time to put the kind of time it would take to do this with pencils and inks. I would really love to. Yeah, I'd really love to. Someday, perhaps if our Patreon is successful, someday I can just do these in pen. That would be awesome. That was my original plan. I wanted to do Not Invented Here on paper and pen. But it did not work with the production schedule I had in mind. I'm sure I could have made it work over time, but it would have taken time that I didn't have to get myself up to that speed on paper. I had to make an executive decision. And not do that. These are giant orange flowers. All right, so I'm going to add a couple more lines in the background here, just for perspective's sake. Another small one right here. Again, I'm using these background elements to help frame the characters a little bit. That might not be good. That might be just a poster or something. Got a lot of those motivational posters on the walls in our company. And I think that's going to do it for inking this comic. Yep, I'm done. Hooray! Not so grim a tale after all. Okay, now comes the easy and fun part, because this takes a while, and sometimes it's nerve-wracking. Anybody still here? No. No viewers. Nobody loves me. Oh well. Guess I'll have to be more entertaining. Oh, one viewer's back. Hi viewer, you're back. I was sad. Nobody loved me. So now I'm going to do. I actually have to do a little bit of file tweaking here. I'm going to bring these files in from Procreate. We don't have everything in there that I need, and there's a couple of things that I use actions for. If you don't have the layers named right, it chokes the action. So I need to open up my recent. There's my template. Not that. Okay. I have a template file that I use for the comic. For a Photoshop template, and it has layers in it that I use. It's like the background and darkening layer. So I can select my whiteout. I have two palette layers that I use that I should probably take out. What is going on? Let's go into palette. I use actions to do certain things really quickly. Oops. That one. That. Template. All right, so now I hold down Shift and drag the layers directly into the other file. And there we are. So top. The palette layers just have the colors that I use for the comic, for the characters, and in some cases for the background. Whiteout, so turn those off. Let's save that. Go over here and close that. Don't save. And now I'm going to open up the file that I did before this, which is the Unit 201. All right. Okay. I'm going to grab that, and I have another layer for background texture. It's just called BG text. And it is used to make it, just to give the background a little more tooth. Right. So now I'm going to pull these off. And I'm going to save this file. I'm keeping the other file open because I'm going to grab colors off of it. So now I go to an action that I have. This action takes all this stuff and gives me a layer on the background and a layer of brown ink. We use a brown colored ink to do this. We don't do it in black. So this gives me a only black and white, a thresholded image, no grayscale on the background, which I'm going to use to set up the colors. I'm going to use this thing, I'm going to use the V-Pelt filters. Cool Dutch guy named V-Pelt made these filters that make it really easy to flat color your comics. That's why he did it, for flat coloring comics. So get rid of all the type because it's a pain to deal with. Let me make that big again. Now here, it's important to do this. The filter only works with black and white. So that's why I threshold it so there are only black and white aliased pixels. Here, zoom in. And it's anti-aliasing now on the screen, but these are actually, it's just hard black and white pixels with no gray. So I'm using a pen that has the same sort of setting, hard black and white pixels, no gray. I'm going to go through here and close all these gaps. And you'll see why this is important when I run the filter. It's going to be a little bit, because I'm going to go through here. Here's the gaps where I don't want the color to be through. It's faster and easier to do that after I've thresholded rather than before. Plus, sort of classical comics always had open lines, especially on the hair and stuff. Having open lines, can help you indicate depth and indicate separation between things. So it's actually nice to not close the lines all the way when you do this. So I'm filling in, and I'm actually adding lines in places where there's going to be a color change that I didn't want to make, a hard black line. Sometimes there's highlights. Sometimes there's and I'll switch to white and knock out places where I do want the color to go across. But for the most part, I'm just going through here and closing out places where I don't want the color. So again, this is a function of how to set this up for the filter. I don't try to be perfect with this because I can always go back there. It's actually better to do it and then run the filter and see if it worked. To sit here and sort of obsessively try to close it. Okay, there's that. So anywhere where I want a color to be, I'll just close it. And sometimes I just go across things and then this is, I guess, a little bit laborious, but it doesn't take that long because the drawing style is so simple. If you wanted to do this on a Neil Adams drawing, it would take some time. Neil Adams draws for old school. He's pretty old school. That's not to say it's a bad school. The old school is a good school. No school like the old school. I like to try to take the classical, old school comics methods and apply them to digital work. Just makes it feel a little more organic. There's this eye there. Got those lines in the background. Thank you once again for bearing with me through this long, arduous process of making a comic. In case you're curious, I spend about 2 hours on each strip. That's my time. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but never much more. Sometimes much less if I'm on fire. Sometimes I'm on fire. I get mine done very quickly, or it's inherently much simpler than so, yep, almost done with this stage of it. I think that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to run my filter. Let me zoom in and turn this off so you can see what happens. The filter is B-Pelt. You have to buy it. The multi-fill one is free, but the flatten Pro is not. It's worth it because I use it every day. Really. You run this filter and it fills every white area on the image with a different color. Oops. Let me see if I made a mistake. So here, Desmond's shirt and flower and face are all the same color, so I can hit undo. I can go back to my brush. Close these three things that are causing my problem. You hit Command F and it runs the filter again. And that looks better. It looks freaky because there's all these weird different colors there, but each color is different and they won't bleed into each other. So that's important for how we're going to color them. One mistake and fixed it. Another one that's still open, you fix that. There's all Desmond's flowers here, let's fix that. All done. That didn't close the sleeve right there. And again, you know, this isn't irrecoverable. If I completely miss something like this, which happens sometimes, I'll just, you know, clean it out. Let's go ahead and grab brush, clean it out. Don't worry about it. Really try to not worry about anything that I'm doing. Because worrying is no fun. And it costs a lot of energy and time that I don't have. Yep, that's looking cool. Alright, so now come out, and before I do anything else, I've made myself a tool preset for my magic wand tool that uses an aliased tolerance. It's the tolerance one, and you can get the alias turned off. It selects only the color, it doesn't select the other, but I'm not going to use that. The next thing that you do is you run the B-Pelt flatten filter. In this case, it's Flatten Pro. The Flatten Pro goes in and just gets rid of all the black and butts the colors all up right next to each other. It's freaking awesome. So I still have my ink lines because they're on the ink ground there. And everything else is just chunks of color. So on the background, I'm going to select the word balloons and the gutters. And hit Command J to lift them off the canvas, go back on. And then call that layer balloon white, and I'm going to go with white. So now I've got a white balloons layer sitting up on top of the color. So now the next thing I'm going to do is save my file. And I'm going to go back out to this. So you see both of these areas. Turn off background texture and the background dark. And I'm just going to grab my colors because it's the same. These guys are it's the same thing. I'm just going to grab my colors and this image and slip them on this image. First, I do the characters. And see, because all these things are, all these sets of color are butted up against each other, I don't have to work too hard to fill them in. I've got a bucket tool set to the same settings as that selection tool, so it's just fills contiguous and no anti-aliasing. It's just there. Voila. Seconds. That's when I'll color in. Paints. Shirt color theme, that's white. And grab the color from his tone. Stick that in there. There's a tone. I use the same color for all the tones. Once again, I should thank Mr. Paul Southworth, the original artist on this strip, for setting all that stuff up for me and making this color palette file. Use on the skin. And that's done. Here is hair color for both Owen and Cellbot, and that's done. Here is the sleeve color for both Owen and Cellbot. That's done. Looks like here's Cellbot's skin color. That is now done. Also, his hand is like that. And here's the ear part color for both of them. Has an additional bit of black there. I'm sure this is like watching paint dry. I'm even getting bored. Sorry. I'm just calling it as I'm doing it because I know it's a little hard to see probably on the screen. So that is back to his clothes. Everything color goes there. That's that. Let's make him side. So yeah, this is literally just paint by numbers. I know what color all these things are. I just grab that color with the paint bucket and just drop it in. And I'm doing the characters first for a specific reason, and I will share that with you as well. Oops. That's not his hair curl is actually the same color as Desmond's. This Desmond's flowers. That's white. Oh, no, that's white. Oh, I messed up. Okay. Yeah. Minor mistakes there, moving minor setbacks. And so that's that. Okay. Right. Goes here. Tie color goes there. And goes there. Yeah. Yeah. This is just filling in color. Just like, oh, I forgot to do do I keep Owen's nose painted? Yeah, I guess I probably should. So I'll do that by hand in just a minute. I forgot to paint Owen's nose. into your nose, so it looks like that green light bulb that everybody has. Okay, so red, red. Let's just this way. Oops. This pipe goes in his face. Okay. Now, back over here. Do red, red, red. That's white. That's white. That's gray. That's gray. That's gray. Tongue here. Tongue. There we go. And I think my characters are done. So when I've got my characters to where I think they're done, oh no, I didn't do this here. Let's go ahead and grab these. Now, I'm fudging a little bit here because I don't want to put the actual colors of these guys on here. So I'm using Desmond, I'm using their respective skin colors for their highlights. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So now I get my comic color select all the same brush, which selects everything that's the same color everywhere on the comic. And then I just start clicking on the color. Move myself up the selection. All this stuff. As rapidly as possible. This. I'm selecting the characters out of the background. The reason I'm selecting them out of the background is because I want to lift them up off the canvas. I don't want them to be affected by the background texture. So, anytime I want to check my selection, I hit Q for quick mask, which gives me a good look as to what's selected and what isn't. Calling ants don't always do that. Just want to make sure I'm not leaving anything out. So, anywhere where there's no green. So, yeah. These are tiny little details of this. Okay, so now I lift that with Command J to the new layer by duplicating it. We call that pairs color. That's what I do. And that's that. So now when I turn on the background texture, it only affects the background. It is not affecting any of the colors on it. And that's that. I have some colors here that I need to fix. Put some in there that I didn't do right. Tongue, for instance, right there. It's teeth right there. Sidebar's neck right there. And now I got to paint on some of those. So that. fill. Do this. Grab the white. A couple dots. So one has clearly disguised himself as Sabot. In. Grab the brush. In. Bucket. Brush. There we go. So now my characters are completely colored in. I've got my background texture, but I need to color my background, obviously. So again, we use the background colors. So bringing in. Let's see. Try there. No, I don't like that as well. This is supposed to be for a door. So that's a door. Make it dark. No, that's too dark because it's ruining it for me. Let's do these institutional greens. I tend to vary the institutional greens a bit. Use a very dark scene. I mean, this place where they work, it's pretty weird in a lot of ways. It's not nice. A nice place. Very corporate. Right, so the background of the first panel is now done. Second panel. Okay, I grab colors from stuff I'm already doing. Let's make this dark. That dark green, and this dark. Yeah, that works. Dark green goes over there. I hope you can see this at least a little bit. The video may not be reproducing that because I'm zoomed out now, so it's as well as I would like. So, okay, almost done. I'm going to make this door a light brown so you can see silhouette against it. Where the black thing is, we got the gray, there. Purple there that shouldn't be there. Oh. Now, fluorescent lights are going to get this sort of green color because the green. Now, these frames around the lights get that color. And that is pretty much going to be it. And actually, I'm going to brighten up those lights a little bit. I think that's it for that panel, but I'm going to do the last one. The last panel is going to be super easy because it's super flat. Use that dark gray for this doorway behind the sidewalk. That will frame him quite nicely. Let's use this lighter green. No, let's use the darker green. And there it goes. And yeah. Yep. So done. Close this file. Don't save. The old file. And I have my background texture, and that's on. And it looks nice. So I turn on my background darkener, which is just puts a little reading your stuff in there. It's actually a shape layer, so it's vector, and I can go in and select bits of it. And in this case, I'm going to lift it up a little bit, and I'm going to flip it horizontally because I have a keyboard shortcut for that. I've programmed F7 to be flip horizontal. And that's about the size of it, folks. That's colored. So now I have actions that I use to get us to get me to the final project or color. Here we go. Not invented here. Thursday strip. Spoilers. That's how I make a comic. Now it's time for me to stop making comics and eat something so my brain doesn't explode. So thank you, one viewer who has been viewing for some time. I appreciate it. I hope I have not put you to sleep. And I hope you will join me again soon because I'm going to be doing more live streams, not necessarily Not Invented here, probably more concept art stuff. Okay, cool. See you later.